Hello and welcome along to this UCAS International podcast with me, Robbie James, and this is again another one of our sub-series Across the Nations episodes where we take a deeper dive into the 4 nations that make up the UK, what you can expect to study in each of those 4 nations, what similarities and differences they may possess. And in today's episode, we are talking all things Northern Ireland. What can you expect if you decide that Northern Ireland is the place for you to come and study? Well, we're going to find out in the lovely company of Isabella McLaughlin from Queen's University Belfast and Johnny Hill from University of Ulster. Nice to have you both on. Welcome along to the podcast. Isabella, let's start with you. What, in your opinion, sets Northern Ireland apart from the other 3 nations as a place to come and study?
That's a loaded question.
It is a loaded question. It's a big one to start off with there. Sorry.
No, it's no worries. I think it's great. To be honest, I think we have quite a few little things that make us unique. But I think something that I really like to say to students is that we're a hidden gem. A lot of people don't really know about us, and that's absolutely fine. But there's so much that you can discover when you come here, whether it's tourism, culture, community. I think we have a bit of everything. And yeah, we're a small little place with a lot to offer.
I like that, like a little nugget, a little nuggety country, a little scrappy country. What would you say, Johnny? What about you? What would you sell Northern Ireland as?
I think, I agree with Isabella, what was said there. For me, it's the people, the environment that you'll be living. You're immersed in this culture that is like a warm and friendly environment. People are very welcoming. They want you to be part of this Northern Irish culture, this tradition of going to Ulster Queen's University. Is just, phenomenal place to be, brilliant people, perfect place to study.
That's really nice, actually. Should we start with that then, the cultural elements? So I'm just imagining if you get off the plane in Northern Ireland, what is maybe, Isabella, the first thing that might surprise you or might hit you? What is the first sign of Northern Irish culture that you may experience?
I think Johnny's totally right in terms of the people. A lot of our students who first arrive in Belfast always say that the taxi drivers here are some of the nicest people that they're going to meet. And they do tend to be very friendly. They will often have a very strong Belfast accent. But once you kind of get past that, they are genuinely the loveliest people and just so welcoming. And I think that is something that they can experience as soon as they get off the flight. It's just how warm and friendly everybody is.
And what about from from an academic point of view, Johnny? How does studying in Northern Ireland differ, or does it differ from the other 3 nations in the UK?
Yeah, I guess our education structure is similar to that of Wales and England in terms of typically 3 years duration. I think what's quite unique about Northern Ireland is it's quite a small country, small population, but that means we're very well connected with the industries, and we work very, very closely with those industries to develop our curriculum to make sure we're educating for the future and not just for the current right now. So my students are joining these courses. They're courses that are designed for when you graduate, you'll be able to hit the ground running straight into that industry. If you're working in AI, working with the tech, that will be ready then, not what is working now. So I think, it's about studying for the future and what the future holds, and we help shape that future with the industry bodies here in Northern Ireland.
That's really interesting, actually, what Johnny mentioned there, Isabella, the fact that I suppose sometimes we can probably all be guilty of thinking of studying as like a little island, and it says, it's a part of our life not connected to what comes next. But actually, if you can tailor those 3 years as it is in Northern Ireland to the next part of your journey, to whatever your career path may take, that's a real benefit.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think there's so many opportunities to make the most of when students are studying, and whether it's part-time work in local businesses, whether it's through our own kind of university programs. For example, in Queen's, I manage the Student Ambassador program. It's a paid opportunity that our students can make the most of while enjoying their student life. There's a lot of amazing career services within Queen's, and I'm sure Ulster are the exact same, that support the students all throughout their journey with work placement opportunities, study abroad, so many different options. And it's really, my piece of advice to students is to make the most of those opportunities from day one. Get to know your career service, get to chat to your academics, learn what kind of things you can do as you're studying to enhance that opportunity that you're going to have when you become a graduate.
And all that support is there, right? It's from people
Yeah.
like you and Johnny who are there to try and make that that transition easier, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So in Queens in particular, we have our Careers, Employability and Skills Service. So they are based in our Students' Union, One Elmwood, but also a lot of different faculties and schools will have their own kind of career support, whether it's through placement offices that are dedicated to certain courses that might have compulsory placement or internship opportunities, and some are optional as well.
Is there anything, Johnny, sort of logistically that is different studying in Northern Ireland? I'm thinking maybe along the lines of accommodation, housing, the way that life works, where you are on campus or in within a city. Is there anything in particular there that is worth knowing about?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, well, for us, I'm going to speak on behalf of Ulster, because we're a multi-campus institution. We have Belfast, Coleraine, and Derry, Londonderry. Each campus has its own accommodation, like Queen's does too. But our accommodation, it ranges in cost, and it is one of the most affordable places to be an international student in the UK. So studying in Belfast, Coleraine, and Derry, Londonderry, our accommodation is very, very affordable. It's single occupant bedrooms. In Belfast, especially between the two institutions, there's a lot of new accommodation that's even been built this year, last year, or the year before. You could be a student that's going into this accommodation that's never been lived in before. So it's brand new. You're living with other international students, you're living with Northern Irish students. It's it's just a great community, and you're in the city centre. You don't need to take, trains and subways to get from campus to your accommodation. You can walk from Ulster and Queens are pretty much opposite sides of the city, and you can walk it in what is about 45 minutes.
Yeah, I
It's
would
not
say so.
far, so it's very commutable. So you're not having to worry about the cost of transport. You can get food delivered to your accommodation through the major supermarket chains, or you can go shopping with friends. Great way of settling in and making friends, going shopping together, cook together. Um, but it means everything's walkable. It means everything's nearby, everything's on your doorstep. But you can take transport out of the city if you want to go and see the beautiful surroundings.
And it's a nice place to walk as well. You maybe take an umbrella, but other than that, it'd be a lovely place for.
A raincoat, it gets windy. Yeah.
Yeah, the rain. Yes. Oh, yeah. You don't want the thing where the umbrella goes inside out, and then you instantly look very, very silly, don't you? Very.
Right.
I've had that one too many times. Isabella, what about the answer to this might be no, in which case that's fine. Is there anything from a sort of a scholarships point of view, bursaries, grants, anything there that stands out in Northern Ireland that people could expect different to the other three nations?
I think a lot of it depends on the institution as well. So at Queen's in particular, we do have some really generous scholarships. We are all about supporting our students as best we can. And I think Johnny mentioned earlier about how Northern Ireland is a very affordable place in general. So having that kind of scholarship opportunity always sort of adds on to that. So we have some more sort of generic scholarships that are available for international students. We have some available for our GB students as well here coming over. And then we have some that are a bit more course specific. And sometimes you can get a combination of some as well to really help reduce those tuition fees and just support as much as possible our students with that kind of thing. And yeah, I would say, obviously there's for local students, for GB students, there's the student finance and all of those kinds of things. But definitely I would say, for Queens anyway, we have as many opportunities for scholarships as we try for our students, and a lot of them do tend to make the most of those opportunities.
And earlier on, Johnny, you mentioned the close link between the universities themselves and also industry in Northern Ireland. I'm guessing then that provides plenty of opportunities when it comes to your next steps after studying. Is that different, and is that quite unique to Northern Ireland, that close knit nature and also the opportunities that they potentially provide?
Yeah, we do have very strong industry links for graduate employment, but also employment during your studies as well. So, students can work, part-time during their studies. A lot of our programs is mandatory to do a placement year where you can work in the industry for a year in a fully paid position. And quite often, students may be offered a position for when they graduate because those companies we work so closely with, they want to recruit our graduates at both Ulster and Queen's. So, yeah, employment rates are very strong. Some of our programs I can say, do have a 100% employment rate upon graduation because of the industry demand. Some of them, some students may look to go further afield, but if you want to stay in Northern Ireland, stay in Belfast, there is some great employment opportunity.
100% is just showing off, Johnny. That's remarkable stuff. It's good. We like that. Just to finish this off then, we did this actually in our Scotland episode. I want to do the same thing with both of you. If an international student is coming over to Northern Ireland to study, What is the one cultural thing that is worth them knowing about, being able to order at a restaurant, being able to talk about, that might impress their friends? Isabella, maybe we'll start with you. I know I'm putting you on the spot a little bit, but if you want to impress your friends in Northern Ireland and have some knowledge of the culture, what might it be?
Um, it's really hard to pick just one, to be honest.
No, but I am making you pick just one.
To be honest, I'm going to say environment and wildlife. So if our students go out to key locations such as the Giant's Causeway, they're going to learn so much about our kind of history and where the sort of mythology behind that comes from. They're going to see some amazing places, meet some amazing people, as we talked about earlier, and just get a real sort of breath of fresh air, literally and metaphorically. And I think, yeah, the sightseeing opportunities that we have, Belfast itself as well. There's the Titanic building, our Titanic Museum and Titanic Quarter, which is a big part of our history. And then cities, like Johnny said, Derry, London, Derry have so much amazing culture to learn as well.
Okay, what one? Give us one then. So what's the one place that you should go?
Okay. Giant's Causeway, definitely.
Fine. I've written it down. Johnny, what about you? Isabella bought you some time there.
Yeah, to be honest, I knew straight away. As somebody who moved to Northern Ireland 8 years ago, the one thing that I loved immediately and still do and have introduced all my friends and family from that I'm from here is soda bread. I absolutely love soda bread. It is incredible stuff. Like, if you put it as soup, you'll have no soup left. It'll absorb it all. But it's the most delicious thing. And especially if you get it homemade, made by somebody's granny, it is phenomenal bread. So yeah, the food, love the food here. So as I say, whenever I go back home, I'll take a suitcase loaded with it for friends and family. It's good stuff.
Great. I enjoy you getting that through customs. Enjoyable. Thank you very much indeed to both of you, Johnny and Isabella, for being on the podcast. Great stuff. Don't forget loads more information available via ucas.com/international. And of course, if you'd like to find out about the other three nations, you can do, because there's 3 other episodes all on Scotland, England and Wales available in our Across the Nations sub-series. All available wherever you get your podcasts, or of course on YouTube. And if you do go on YouTube, make sure you click that subscribe button. We'll speak soon.